Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Encouragement Today. I'm Vinny and I got a special guest in the house today. But before we get to that, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all of the things that you're supposed to do so that we can reach more people because we want to encourage everybody. That's what this show is all about, Encouragement Today. Make sure you ring that bell so you get the message that we're coming on. And so my special guest today is Dalton the Nerd.
Yo,
yes, no, that's not his real name.
Right. But you know, that's the one people know me by.
Yes,
exactly.
And like you're like Instagram and Facebook. Is it all Dalton the Nerd?
Dalton the Nerd on everything. Dude.
On everything.
Yes, sir.
After talking to you in real life, because we've had a chance. I've known you for a few years now through my son, so it's been a pretty interesting dynamic in that, which is really cool because like. You guys became friends online, like through video games and
playing Minecraft, dude.
Right, totally different states, totally different like places of and became friends. And then you came down to Florida. We went up to Atlanta. You came down to Florida, like when we were living there. And then now we're in West Virginia. And you, he just went to you last week, and then you came up here.
Exactly, dude.
And so it's kind of funny because now meeting you in person and seeing. And talking to you in real life, I can say that is a good name for you, Dalton the Nerd. Not in a bad way. I mean it like in a good way. There's intelligence. Yeah. There's like you have knowledge and like there's a lot there. Your conversations are really about nerdy stuff.
This is true.
And that's true. That's not a bad thing. You named your company that. What's the name of your company?
Nerd Creative Agency.
He's got the hat on to prove it.
You know?
I mean, he's got the hat on to prove it. So, hey, zoom in on the hat. Check it out. Look at it. There it is. Nerd Creative. So, yeah, go like them too. They got some pretty cool stuff going on the YouTube, on the Facebook, Instagram.
Our executive assistant does a pretty good job of running the socials for us, you know.
Shout out little Vin.
Shout out V4.
V4, that's right, Vin 4.
But yeah, no, that's. I think it's funny, dude. I always tell people, I was like, yeah, no, I met like one of my best friends off of playing Minecraft in the chat, and you know he stood up there beside me as a groomsman at my wedding. I'm up here at his church now, doing stuff like it's. Hilarious. People are like, oh, you've just known him forever. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it has been like 9-10 years, but like started playing video games.
Like, you guys were like 11, 12, no?
Yeah, I think I was like 13 something, and then he was like probably like 11 or so.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's like right at 10 years.
Yeah. So, you know, a lot of parents worry about their kids playing things online. We actually have had some cool things come from my kid playing games online. So it can turn out okay if you monitor, if you do the right thing.
Exactly.
And he joined a Christian Minecrafting crew, and they were Minecrafting Jesus, I guess, on their
yes, sir.
Right. And,
Back
I mean, you guys do Bible studies. You guys like
It was just eventually, it just got into us all having theological arguments over our denominations while we played video games. But you know,
who doesn't?
Sounds like a good Friday night to me. You know,
right. Who doesn't have theological debate while playing games?
Exactly.
I mean, that sounds like fun.
But yeah, no, that's where it started. Now we're here,
and now you're recording those, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, you guys play in Minecraft. You recorded them, so you got a lot of different video things that you do. So tell us a little bit about what you do with Nerd Creative Agency and we're going to walk through today just an idea of where this episode is going to go. We're going to talk through some dreams and how you can accomplish your dreams. And we're going to want to encourage you in that way today. But you had a dream a few years back, right, of starting what you're doing now.
Exactly.
And so tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and like the dream that it was.
Yeah. So, just kind of, you know, skip to the end, last page of the book, like where we're at right now. I have my personal brand, which is Dalton the Nerd. And that is, you know, kind of me as a music video director or a kind of persona in this music industry, doing a lot of creative rollouts, music videos, you know, working on things in the studio with artists. I do not hop on the mic. That is not my thing, you know.
No.
But I can help give some advice and feedback on some songs, you know. I can be helpful in the studio at times, but more so the visual side, the rollout. And so and we've also started doing a lot of behind the scenes, teaching people how to make music videos and things like that.
Right.
So we've started doing that on the personal brand channel. We also have Nerd Creative Agency, which is the LLC, the fancy actual company behind it all. We do a lot of, bread and butter corporate type stuff, ministries, things of that sort. Boring stuff that we, don't really showcase all that much.
Right.
People sitting in offices and talking and telling you to buy their product and,
stuff you have to do to pay the bills.
Stuff you got to do to pay the bills,
right.
But it still beats, a 9 to 5.
Right.
And so we've got that going on, always growing that and, making things happen over there. And then, we've dabbled back into some gaming stuff recently, which is funny. That's how it all started. We all started as kids who were trying to be Minecraft YouTubers so we could play video games all day and make millions and didn't have to worry about anything. Then we all were like, all right, we got to get real jobs and do stuff now. So we all kind of gave up.
Right.
We all kind of gave up once we hit, the end of middle school. And now we're back at it again. Now it's like, all right, well, we have some free time and we have people that can edit our videos for us.
Right.
Got to give Vinny some stuff to do,
Of course,
it's like play video games every night. And like now it's actually like kind of going the direction. Like we haven't blown up or anything, but we're able to make a little, $20 here, $20 there off some ads and stuff like that, which is nice, and we're playing video games. It's what we do.
It's what you do anyway.
It's what we do anyway.
Right.
We just can bring some people some entertainment out of it.
Right. And some of them are pretty funny. I've seen some of the reels that are out there, and they're engaging and yeah. It's like if you know on a lot of the jokes. So which is great. But so kind of gearing up, like, what was your dream at the very beginning? Like you were like, man, this is what I want to. How did that happen? This is what I want to do with my life. This is my dream and my passion. What was that?
So, I mean, initial was, I was 9 or 10 watching YouTube and I see these guys that live in these big old mansions playing video games. And I was like, the idea of making a video, someone watching this like I'm watching it right now, getting enjoyment and motivation and inspiration out of it, that was cool to me. As with any idea, any business person at all, you start with an idea and it becomes a universe,
Right.
And so I slowly realized, maybe gaming's not the main thing, I taught myself editing and all this stuff and then started getting into the camera side of it because I realized I had, some older people at my church that needed things edited and things of the sort. And this one lady, I remember she paid me like $250 to edit a photo slideshow. And I was like, this took me 10 minutes, right? And she was like, yeah. I was like, I only, don't give me all this money. And she's like, no, you worked. This is yours now.
Right.
And that was one of the moments where I was like, all right, I just made $250 in 10 minutes. This might be better than the $4.09 of ad money I've made in the last 4 years on YouTube.
Right.
All right, let's keep rolling with it. And so I did that for a little bit. I did a little local film festival. We won like $100, and it was those two things happening within about a year of each other that it really clicked for me. Of this is a real thing.
Right.
I always was interested in the film stuff. I wasn't necessarily I want to go make movies type guy, but I was every DVD that was in the house, I was going and watching all 2 hours of behind the scenes content to see how they did it. I was always getting in trouble for taking the family camera and making skits and stuff. And so, yeah, I also hated school. Like anything book, school related. I was like, I was homeschooled and I had ADHD.
Going back to let's backtrack a second, because I remember when Vinny came down to visit you guys and you guys filmed. Wasn't there like a goofy thing that you all filmed in a parking lot with like swords and stuff?
Oh, we're always making random
crazy
skits,
videos,
running around the woods and stuff like that. It's just always.
So this is like 11-year-old, 13-year-olds getting together and like. Well, maybe you guys were 13 and 15 at the time, because it was a few years after you guys had whatever. And you all getting together and making these.
Yeah, that was our boy Salem. He was real good at making. He made the foam swords and stuff. Big on that. But yeah, no, I mean, and it's like, don't tell the clients, but like the stuff is so fun, we would do it for free,
right?
But we got to make a living, But it's also like. It's important to love what you do. But yeah, I mean, around that same time of me not liking school, I was homeschooled and I was ADHD. So it's, here's your stuff. You can do it whenever you want.
Right.
And now I'm like, procrastinating all the stuff that comes with that, know. And so I'm like, I hate this. Like, and I would get through stuff pretty quick. Like when I tried, I could fly through schoolwork. And it got to a point where I was like, in early high school, I was like, you know what? I want a way to not go to college. And in like 8th grade, I told my dad, I was like, yo, I don't want to go to college. He goes, if you're living in my house, you're going to college. And I was like, I hate that, but all right, fair point. And not too long after that, I was like, this film school thing seems kind of pointless. I'm going to have to go pay $200,000 for 4 years, be in debt in an industry that's not exactly known for making a ton of money.
Right.
And everything I'm learning there, I can learn online, And so I go, I around that same time I make those two gigs, the $250 and the $100, and I was like, I'm doing this as a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, no formal education. I'm watching YouTube videos and doing an online course that I paid $100 for, and I'm learning these things. And so I kind of sit them down and be like, look, I know you said I had to go to college, but like money, I did this now. So imagine if I give it some more time. And they're like, all right, well, we'll see if you can keep this up. We'll talk. And so we started rolling with it, and I just keep grinding, doing stuff with the church and all that, and eventually start making some money off of it, and it started. They're like, okay, we're convinced, and I get to middle of high school ish, like 10th grade year, and my mom, she doesn't love this part, but I was like, hey. This like 6 hours of school I'm doing, most of the stuff is useless. I'm never going to touch calculus. I'm never going to touch any of this stuff again. I'm not even going to college. I don't even need this stuff I only need this to get into a college. So if I'm not going, why? I was like, what if I did like an hour and a half, 2 hours of like core classes every day, did some math, some science, and then called it a day and just did film stuff. And she first was like, no. And I was like, okay. And then I just did it anyway. And
sorry, Mom.
Sorry about that.
We're very sorry for that. But look at what it turned out to be.
It worked out. But and she'd be like, you need to do your schoolwork. And I'd be like, oh, well, I have clients that need projects, and I'm making money, and I'm doing what I would be doing in college. And it was kind of like all right. Yeah.
Well, here's what I would take, like my takeaway on what you're saying is, we're not telling people like don't go to college, right? Like what worked for you may not work for other people, because there are people.
Your situation.
There are people that have gone to film school, have done all of that, and they make it, and that's like a dime a dozen, as they say. But like you figure, if you're doing it right, you're like, man, I'm passionate about this. You started early, right? Like super young, and it's like, man, I love this, right? Yep. And I want to do this. And I try to teach my kids the same thing. I have a kid that loves something right now, and it's like, doesn't love school, all of that, and puts his time into other things too. And it's like, yeah, but it's working, and you see like the passion behind it and how it's working. So I get where you're coming from. But there was a video you just posted on your page about like your dream and how you dreamt about doing this thing. And so we want to show that video right now. So it's a quick reel. So take a look at this right now. This is Dalton, his dream, and really the accomplishment of making that dream happen. So take a look at this for the next few seconds. There it is, right? And that's literally your dream becoming reality, right?
Yeah.
Like there they are in front of you on stage. You're filming with your little iPhone, right? Like it's like, yeah, there they are, right? These are my guys. And then there's you up on the stage, like doing your thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so cool to see You super young. That's pretty awesome, right? But also seeing you in action, doing what you love to do. And so kind of talk through that moment.
Yeah, for sure. So I'd been doing all the church videos for a few years. That was my thing. I was really learning the craft, and I wanted to dip into the music stuff because I always loved like rap and hip hop. I said this on the other thing, but I remember I got a computer when I was 3 because my dad worked in computers, so I got this old fixer-upper computer.
Right. Before the other thing is we have another show called the Culture Architects Show. Go check that out as well on the Culture Studios page. Check it out. So go ahead.
But yeah, and so I got a computer and it had my dad's Windows Media Player library on it. And whatever's there, just listen to that. And I opened it up. It had Microsoft Paint, Microsoft Word, Windows Media Player, and it had Toby Mac, DC Talk, For Him, and Meatloaf. And they were like, "Don't listen to that one.
Don't
the
listen
other,
to
the other
Meatloaf.
ones.
Everything else is okay.
Everything else is fair game."
Yes.
And I was like, "All right, I don't know why we can't listen to this Meatloaf guy." But anyway, and so I was always playing Toby Mac, DC Talk, all that from like age 3.
Right.
Like my first conscious memory around music is me like jumping off my bed listening to like Get This Party Started by Toby Mac, and like always growing up around that was awesome. I mean, my parents one time, they told me we were going to see Santa at the mall, and I was like, we drove past the mall, and then we pulled in at the Fox Theater, and they were like, "Just kidding, we're here to see Toby Mac." And
well, that's like your Santa.
Yeah, I was like, "This is way better than Santa, dude." But like seeing that, even that show, like I'd been to other shows before, but seeing like somebody that I had listened to and seeing that all unfold on the stage in front of me, I just fell in love with hip hop and music, and I've always been like that. And so I started going to these shows. And the first show I ever went to was like the first dedicated show. Like I went to my fair share of winter jams and stuff like that, but it was Magic and Bird, Andy Mineo and Words played on tour, a friends and family tour, and we went out there. My dad took me. We bought the tickets. They were like $20 a piece. We're sitting out there, and my dad, you know, he put me on to DC Talk and Toby Mac, so he's getting into some of this stuff too. He'd drive me to the shows, and Words played. Runs out in the crowd, starts doing his verse. I'm like, "Dad, give me your phone," because like my phone had died hours ago, and I was like, "Dad, give me your phone." I sit here do this, and I film, and I was like, it was the coolest thing ever. And then so that happens, and after that, I go, "Okay, cool. I like going to these shows. I also love filming.
Yep.
How do I film at these shows?" And I specifically remember seeing this guy. It's funny. He works for me now. He's one of our contractors, Brian Fandry, editor Brian on Instagram. He's awesome. And I saw him down there filming in the photo pit. I'm like, that guy looks like he's near my age. You know, he's not like a full-blown adult. He looks like a high school kid doing this stuff. Well, if he can do it, there's got to be a way that I can work my way into this. Mm-hmm. And so I started, working my way through it all. And, I snuck my camera into a Lecrae show at a youth conference one time. So they're dodging security, taking pictures. Because the one thing is, to shoot shows like that, they want to see stuff you've done before.
Right.
It's kind of like when you're applying for a job and they're like, "Yeah, you need 2 years of experience in this field." But like, no one's going to give you a job unless you have 2 years of experience in the field.
Exactly.
So the same thing is there. I snuck it in. I got the photos. Just grinding. No one's paying me. I'm sneaking in, taking stuff, sending it to the label. Excuse me. Sending it to the label and being like, "Hey, you guys let me do this before. Let me do it again." And they're like, "All right, these are cool photos. Cool." And so basically, there was a good 3-4 year period of not getting paid for a single show, buying tickets, emailing managers, emailing photos, getting into these shows. And like, second I get in the car, pull out the laptop, edit the photos, send it to the artist so they have something to post that night. I probably invested thousands of dollars into gas, food, and concert tickets in those few years just to make the connections. And I mean, that's what I did for the longest time. But my end goal was always music videos. But you can't just walk up to an artist on the label and be like, "Hey, give me $10,000 to go film a music video." Because they're like, "You're crazy, and you're like 12. Like, no. But once you network enough, you get enough people following you, you spend some time at the studio, whatever. And so I had a director friend of mine that I knew from growing up who was filming some stuff with Holvey when he first got signed. I think this might even been before they announced that they had signed him, but he was doing stuff. He's like, "Yo, you want to come do some behind the scenes?" And I was like he's like video, and video has always been the thing I'm better at.
Right.
I did photos just cause like it'd get me in the door. You know, I would do them to get there. He was like, "Yo, come do behind the scenes video." So I'm sitting there. It's like a 16-hour day, not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got a chicken sandwich out of the deal. And as soon as I got home, I was editing it up, seeing people. You know, people are following me after it gets posted, and I get tagged and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it was just years and years of kind of putting my head down and just doing the work.
Right.
And then eventually, you know, I had enough of a kind of, you know, energy and a good chemistry with Holvey that I ended up going to some studio sessions with him a few times and, you know, shooting some stuff there and just random stuff here and there. And eventually, you know, topics came up. Yeah, I can do music videos.
Right.
You know?
I think I have an idea that I think what we should do right here is kind of let's put a couple of shots in of some of your videos that you've done. And we'll take a look at, just take a look at some of these recent photo shoots and video shoots or videos that you've done, so you guys get a better understanding of what he's kind of talking about, because as he's talking through it, I'm like, man, let's see some of it.
Yeah.
So, hey, take a look at this real quick. We'll be right back in a minute.
Cool. Yeah, that was a little recent demo reel type thing of some music videos. But yeah, and so I started, the biggest thing was, you know, just like with the photos, no one wants to pay you for something they've never seen you do before.
Right.
And so the big first thing was I had networked on Instagram with this guy named Star Ringo, and Ringo's gone on to do some dope stuff. He's an awesome rapper from Monroe, Louisiana. And he hits me on like a Winter Jam edit I had posted. So I'd do concert edits, and part of that transition was I'd do video edits instead of photo edits. And he was like, "Yo, this is hard. You want to do a music video?" And I was like, "Dog, I've never done one of these before. You know that, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's fine." I was like, "Okay."
I'm a little nervous here, bud, but I think, yeah, I can do it.
As long as you agree that you're aware I haven't done this before.
Right.
He's like, "You've done church videos for like forever, so you'll be fine." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And we pull up in Atlanta. We start shooting. I think I walked away from that shoot with $40 in my pocket because I went, you know, go big or go home. I was hiring out friends to hold lights and all kind of stuff. And yeah, I ended up walking away with about $40. And you know, we posted the video, and it's probably sitting at 80,000 views on YouTube now.
Right.
But I was like, this was huge. And so, you know, I was still like I didn't have a price for music videos. I still hadn't really done a whole lot of them. And I was doing a show, and I met this guy named Swayze. And a big thing about the music industry is I've always had this major case of imposter syndrome, mainly because of my age. I'm age 14 to 18-ish in a room of 30-year-olds that I'm assuming are all like millionaires.
Right.
And so I'm immediately thinking the second something goes down, I'm the first one that's asked to leave, all this stuff. Like, people don't want me here unless I'm taking pictures, which, you know, at the very beginning, maybe that's how it was. But after years of doing it, you know, it's genuinely people want me there because they know me and things like that. But at this point, I still needed more music videos under my belt. And so I'm at this show. This kid named Swayze is opening. And he's opening for Holvey at this little party thing. And I was like, this kid looks like he's around my age. And so I kind of just gravitated to him because he looks like he's my age.
Right.
Come to find out, our birthdays are like 15 days apart.
Oh, hilarious.
Exact same age. Yeah. And so I hit him up. I was like, "Yo, let's network." You know, got his number, whatever. I sent him some photos from the night. We didn't talk for a while. And I just called him one day. I was like, "Dude, I want to do a music video for you. Send me a song. Let me do something. Just let me cook."
Right.
Yeah, I don't even need money. Like, pay my gas to get out to your crib, and we'll do it. And around the same time, he has a song with Holvey. And this is right as Holvey is really blowing up.
Right.
And he goes, "Well, if I want to use my one card here, I'm gonna use it on this one because this one's kind of a big deal." And so one day it just kind of all falls together. I'm at the studio with Holvey. Swayze calls him, and I was like, "Yo, if you'll drive down here, we'll make this happen. We'll actually pull up and get it going." And so no money. I think the final invoice was like $60 for some Chick-fil-A and some gas. We drove down to Augusta, ran around some parking lots shooting this video. And I mean, I think it's the biggest video I've fully directed, edited myself.
Right.
And it's like got 150 something thousand views on YouTube now. I mean, that was the song that kind of put Swayze on the map too, and put me on the map as a director. I go to music festivals and kids come up to me and call me the Swivel Guy because the song was called Swivel. Yeah. And so people still call me that. But that's kind of what it got started. And, people saw that and they're like, okay, come do my song and all that. And it's, pretty much just been networking from there. And, I'm thankful to be in a position where I don't have to take every single video that I'm offered, because when you get into shooting music videos, some people slide in your DMs with some rough songs that you maybe don't want to do a video for. But yeah, I mean, I'm in a spot where it's like I had to do it because it's what I love, and I feel very called to that area.
Yeah. So you kind of had this dream as a kid, a youngster, and you grinded it out. I mean, you made the contacts, you did all the things that you needed to do. It wasn't like you said, oh, I have this dream, it's just going to fall into place and everything's going to go my way. It was like you're going to shows, you're spending your own money, you're doing all these things to make something happen. And what a lot of people don't do is exactly what you did. Is they just think it's going to come because they have the talent and they have the ability, right?
Or the flip side, they look at it and they go, oh, that's too far out there, I'm not even going to try.
Right. And I mean, you're talking 14 years old, 15 years old, like making contacts, going to shows and saying, that guy looks like me. Let me go talk to him. Let me get his info. Let's kind of collaborate, figure out a way to make this happen. And that's all it took. You said, hey, I'm going to make this happen in my own way. And I feel like what people need to hear is like, hey, if you have this dream or this passion to do something, you got to grab the bull, man. You got to grab the bull by the horns and say, man, I'm going to just do something to make it happen. And maybe it takes a step. Maybe it takes talking to somebody you've never talked to or thought you could talk to, thought you could even be in the same room with, right? But you're there and it happens, and it's like you find ways to make it happen, and that's literally how people make their dreams happen. They find me, they work it. And how many events did you do probably before you started? I mean, that the 150,000 views on a video is incredible, but there was probably 50 videos before that.
Well, that was one of the first ones, and it just happened really well. That was the second music video. But yeah, no, there's... I
mean, like church videos. Like, I mean, you're talking grinding it out.
I mean, that was year 7.
Okay, so 7 years of doing videos,
a career,
right?
Before that happened.
All of that. So it didn't happen like... You just so happened to be the second guy you did a music video for.
Right.
Incredible. And it's an incredible video, too. But, it took your camera work and you figuring out how to do all of that. And, like, man, I was saying to him the other day, my Chad, who you guys all know, who's been on the show and everything, part of our team, your camera work is, like, crazy.
Thank you.
Right? And so, you see... the way he moves with the camera and how he kind of operates, and then you see the video after and you're like, bro, it's incredible. But that's years and years of being behind the camera and doing it, and now you see the fulfillment of it, and now God's blessing you in a bunch of areas.
Yeah, well, and I will say, I think there's two things. One, the only thing separating you from being that person that is doing that thing that you want to do, because everybody has a person they look at and they're like, man, I want to be like this person. For me, I had guys, that I followed on Instagram because I thought their photos were cool. And the only thing separating you from that person is whether you do it or not. We all sit on the couch and go, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this.
Right.
The only thing that separates you is doing it. Mm-hmm. Whether you have the best camera on the market or the worst camera on the market. Half the music videos I filmed that have hundreds of thousands of views on the internet are shot on super cheap cameras.
Right.
Like one of my first music things, the thing that landed me the gig with my first music video was shot on a $300 camera.
People like, I gotta get this most expensive thing, and I gotta do this, and it's like, nah, just do it.
It's just do it, you know. And I mean, we've had videos, big sets where, I mean, we've got $500,000 worth of rental lights out there and stuff, and we're still shooting it on a $1,000 camera and a $200 lens, you know.
Right.
It doesn't take that much. But yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things I did to start was getting into the photos side. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to get in the door with a camera, because you walk to the door with a camera and they said, get out of here, you know. And so what I did was I took 10 guys that were these famous photographers. I thought they were, you know, I thought these guys lived on a tour bus and made hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
Half of them were just college kids that had cool Instagrams. I emailed, or I DM'd 10 of them, and I got a response back from one. There's this dude named Marcellus. He's incredible. One of the best photographers to touch the Christian music space. But even him, that's not his full-time gig. He's got a day job.
Right.
Still. And I mean, there's no shade in having a day job. I think a lot of people in the music industry, hip-hop, whatever, it's like you got to act like you don't have a day job. Like, no, no.
Well, you look at, I mean, some huge people have other things that they do. You know what I mean?
I still have the corporate video stuff.
Right.
If I was living straight off the stuff I make off of music, I'd be driving a 1980 something or another with bald tires and living in a shack. And,
it's okay. I still I'm just kidding. I'm playing. I drive a little bit better car than that.
But yeah, it's like, but yeah, it's like, yeah, there's no shade in that at all. But everybody's got to do their thing. But yeah, all I did was reach out, and I mean, he reached back out and he gave me the layout. He was like, he sent me screenshots of emails he had sent to managers, and he gave me the point. He was sitting there circling stuff in the screenshots, and I mean, doing that is huge,
Yep.
Finding those people that will mentor you, that want to see you win.
Right.
There's not a weird competitive energy to it.
That was one of we've done an episode in the past, is finding a mentor in your life, right? Encouraging people to do that. And that's huge too,
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, because, and that's what you're kind of doing, that kind of stuff now as well, where like people reach out to you and you're like helping them. We reached out to you this week. You're here with us, doing some things here. And it was like, yeah, just fly me in, whatever. I'll help, I'll teach, I'll do whatever. And you've been teaching one of our guys this week, and that's been kind of fun to see you in your element of like showing people how to run camera, how to operate, how to move, how to do this. And it's like, that's been really fun to watch. So and it's you just being you, right? And giving back because other people gave it to you.
Well, that's one of the things that Marcellus taught me. And I don't remember the exact words he used, but he basically said, before I teach you any of this, here's a character piece I want to teach you. And he goes, let me know if you're not going to help other people with this, so I can just stop trying. He's like, if you're not going to help others, I'm not even going to waste my time. But he said that, don't start going up the stairs and then get to the top and then turn around and be like, all right, what can I do? You get up a step and turn around and help the guy behind you get up the step.
Well, that's awesome.
And he's like, if you're not going to do that, don't even bother. And I was like, fair enough. Which, I mean, the second show I did, I was helping another guy who had not even done one. I was like, all right, here's how you do this. And it's not, business-wise, it's not a great idea. I've spent so much time that I could have been making money, doing gigs, whatever, teaching people things completely for free. And sometimes, it takes over my schedule, and there's other things I could be doing. But there's no part of me that ever regrets that. I'm like, you know what? That's in some way, shape, or form changing somebody's life, or at least giving them something they can use to change somebody else's life.
It's more rewarding in a sense.
Yeah.
To help people. I know the finances are good, right? But God always supplies, right?
Exactly.
And when we give and we offer more to others, the reward is way better than the financial piece that comes from it. And so Hey, we're gonna kind of close out this episode. Give me the point where you were like, man, I've done it. I've my dreams have all kind of, and I know you have more, right? So you're just in this space right now. There's some more things ahead. But give me that one moment where you're like, man, I know it. I'm doing exactly what I want to do.
For me, it was these moments happen a lot, but the one that specifically happens is I talked about imposter syndrome, always feeling like I wasn't supposed to be there. And I had a moment probably about a year ago. It wasn't even that long ago where still having these feelings of if I don't have a camera, people don't want me here, whatever.
Right.
And there was like a show that I was going to, and I didn't have my camera. I was just in town, whatever, and I casually mentioned that I wanted to go, and like, they're like, okay. The artist was like, okay, cool, yeah, 100%. And I had comp tickets, backstage pass, the whole thing. They're like, yeah, just come get it. And I was like, that was for me as a person. That wasn't me with a camera.
Right.
These people are genuinely my friends. These aren't just people I'm trying to get around for some Instagram clout or something like that. Which, in the very beginning, that is kind of what you try to do when you're a young kid trying to get into that. And so it was a moment where I was like, these people care about me whether I've got the camera with me or not. And these also just moments of trust where I'm on set with an artist I've never directed with before, and they're like, yeah, but like, we know you got this. And I'm like, like they trust me when I don't trust me.
Right.
There'll be some there've been some videos where I'm like, I don't know how this one's gonna pan out. And they're like, yeah, you got it. And I'm like, okay, sure. Maybe I do. All right, I'll give it a shot, And so stuff like that. That's really, and at the end of the day, the fact that, I'm not rich. There's some months I have to look at my bank account and go, all right, let's figure this thing out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't have to, wake up stupid early in the morning, go clock into a job that I hate. Even if I'm not rich, I get to do what God's telling me to do, which just also happens to be really fun.
Yeah, I think we're gonna title this episode what you just said. Give it a shot. Right?
I like that.
Because honestly, what a lot of people don't do is give it a shot. Right? Like they'll go through their whole life without trying to take the shot, do what they need to do to get what it is. And I want to encourage you today with that. Give it a shot. You never know what's going to happen. Like, go find that person that, man, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. And find somebody. Give it a shot. Go up to them and say, hey, it would be awesome if you could help me with this. I'm trying to do the same thing. Or whatever it is. Give it a shot with that friendship, that relationship. Find a way to do things that you've never done before. We take that Nike slogan, just do it, right? And hopefully we don't get copywritten straight in here. But like, seriously, if you would just take the dream that you have and just do it and give it a shot, you never know what's going to happen. And I believe when you give it a shot with Jesus, that's when things make the most sense and things start happening incredibly in your life. When you do it alone, tough. When you do it with God, great things will happen. And that's what's cool about you is you haven't done this alone. You've done it with God right by your side, you praying and you doing these things. And it's all in the Christian hip hop world and all of that. But, that's where you've been your whole life, church and all of that. And now you're stepping out into different areas and doing a whole bunch of different things. But hey guys, give it a shot.
The only thing, like I said earlier, stopping you from being where you want to be is picking up a camera and doing it, And a good reference I'll give is 21 Pilots, one of the biggest bands in the world. They've broken streaming records for they're runner up to like the Beatles on like one of the most streamed albums of all time. And they have no shortage of money. They have no shortage of production gear, all this stuff. They just did their last album, and they had like one or two real high budget videos that I'm sure they put a few $100,000 into. But they did a music video for every song on that album, and the camera they used, you can go buy it on Facebook Marketplace right now for $2,500 maybe, which sounds like a lot of money, but put it into perspective.
Right.
You work a few months at McDonald's, maybe a month at McDonald's or something like that. You can get that. You know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's not it sounds like a lot of money, but if you put the dedication into it, it's not a hard thing to do. And they shot an entire album, music video wise, off of that. And each one of those videos has like no less than 5 to 10 million views a piece. And there's like 13 of them. So like, and I said this in one of my videos, is like they grabbed a camera and they went out to a random field. Like there's a video of them in a horse field, like standing on hay bales. What's stopping you and your friends from going out and doing that?
Yeah, so good.
Like every single music video, like the music video where I said we got 150,000 views and kind of defined my career. No money. We went to a parking garage with a camera.
Right.
But Buddy was still in his, it was like a 03 Kia Rio where the windows wouldn't roll up all the way. That's what we were in.
Right.
We posted up with that thing. And so it's getting out there and trying it. The only thing that makes someone else on the internet better than you at what they're doing is the fact that they're trying.
Right.
So that's why like hate comments never make a whole lot of sense to me, because it's like you're sitting on a couch typing up a paragraph to make fun of somebody that's actually giving something a shot.
Yeah, so good.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I've got is give it a shot. If you got an iPhone, doesn't matter if it's even an old one. Pick it up. Go film something.
You can do some great things with iPhones nowadays. There's editing, that's crazy stuff. So just there's no excuse for you not to be doing what you think you can do in that field for sure. So hey, we want to encourage you today, man. I'm going to pray over you guys and then we'll close out. But man, I pray right now that you would just do what you're called to do, what you feel passionate about. I pray in the name of Jesus that you would do what you're supposed to do, that you would give it a shot, that you would take it to the next level, that you would do what God is asking you to do. And I pray that God would continue to give the dreams and the vision and the passion for whatever you feel like you're supposed to be doing, and that God would bless you and keep you. His face would shine upon you and he would give you peace. May you be blessed and be encouraged. We'll see you on another episode.